I wonder what's taking Valerie so long. She's been in that changing room for ages. Valerie? Is everything okay in there? Don't force it if it doesn't fit. No, this is the last dress in store. I just need to breathe in for a bit longer. So? It's beautiful, isn't it? Valerie spun around. Then suddenly, yep, trying to squeeze into a dress 2 sizes too small for her, then it'd split. The giggles around us started. Valerie blushed, hurriedly paid for the dress, and pulled me out of the shop. Why am I so fat? Ugh! I just want to feel pretty on my date. If I was skinny like you, I wouldn't have this problem. Poof! You know, it's not as easy as you think being thin. Yep, you heard me right. Being thin has its downsides. First of all, fashion. My nightmare. I have to wear an extra small size, and the clothes still hang off me. Actually, most of my clothes are from kids' stores, so I feel so untrendy. Then in winter, I have to wear tons of layers just so I don't freeze to death. And in the summer, I can't wear cute clothes as I look like a coat hanger. Not only that, because I'm so skinny, people often ask me to do nonsense stuff. Once, I was studying in my room when suddenly I heard my sister Camilla calling me. She'd forgotten her keys and forced me to climb through her tiny window gap to get them. Seriously, I can't even! Then, on another occasion, Valerie made me crawl into the classroom locker to help her cheat on her Spanish test. Unfortunately, the teacher walked in while this was happening and gave me a week's worth of detentions, of course. Ugh! Oh my god, No Way Home is so good. I literally can't think of one bad thing to say about it. Yep, the part near the end. Ah! Yep, guess what? I'd managed to trap my foot in a manhole. Man, what rotten luck! I tried pulling my leg free, but it was no use. It wouldn't budge. There I was, freaking out that I'd be stuck here forever, and all my friends could do was huddle together and ask me questions like, "Madeline, how on earth did you get your foot in such a small slot?" Wow, that's unbelievable! Even Jaden, my bookworm friend, took out a ruler from his backpack and started measuring how wide the slot was. Grr. My dear friends, I'm being stuck down here. Stop gawping and help me! Finally, they tried helping me out, but in the end, we had to call the rescue squad. By this point, a massive crowd had gathered around me, and strangers were filming me. When I was finally free, everyone looked at me and held back their laughter. Even Parker, my crush, was smiling. Geez, this was beyond embarrassing. But a hot guy like Parker would never notice a moving skeleton like me anyway. Don't think like that, Maddie. You're so pretty. Show me some confidence, would you? Valerie said as she nudged my arm. I put the book down and glared at her, and suddenly noticed Parker walking towards our table, smiling. And yep, he said he wanted to sit with us. Even though I was cheering inside of my head, I still had to act composed. And oh my god, can you believe he even said I was cute? After that day, Valerie kept on encouraging me, saying he had definitely given me a green light. So finally, I gathered my courage to write down all my feelings for Parker on a note and clipped it to his notebook. At the end of class that day, he came to my desk and took my hand. Yay! Everything was fine, great even, until one day when the two of us were taking a romantic walk past the Swan Lake, Parker suddenly turned to me and said, "You're so beautiful, Maddie. And if you just put on a few more pounds, I swear you'll be the hottest girl at school." Yes, I know, but it's hard for me to gain weight. No big deal. Just leave it to me. I'll fatten you up. I thought Parker was just joking, But it turns out he was being deadly serious. Since that day, every time we went on a date, instead of taking me to the bowling alley and movies as usual, Parker would take me out to eat. I swear, I've tried all the restaurants in our town. More surprisingly, on my birthday, Parker even gave me a bouquet of fried chicken. How romantic! But this didn't change anything, as my weight still stayed the same. Parker was disappointed when he peered over me and saw the scales hadn't budged. Then he sighed out.
How come you and Valerie are friends, but look totally opposite? Here comes our adorable, chubby Valerie.
What? Parker called Valerie adorable again. This wasn't the first time either. Annoyed, I put down my fork and walked away from them. After that, I started avoiding Valerie. I did homework with other friends, sat with other girls at lunch, and every time I happened to see Valerie, I turned around and walked away. Honestly, I didn't want it to be this way, but just seeing her made me uncomfortable. But I couldn't bear to see my boyfriend call my BFF cute, while he thought I was too skinny. Then summer break finally rolled around. I thought it'd be just me and Parker, but then he went off to a summer camp in Spain. The plan was all ruined. So I spent a whole sunny day inside sulking. What's wrong? Are you bored because your lover is away? So why don't you take this time to surprise him when he returns? Surprise? A great idea popped into my head. But how do I get chubby? Easy peasy. Okay, if it's that easy, then show me. Okay, if you do my summer homework for me. What? She's such an opportunist. But I really wanted to pile on the pounds and please Parker. So, without hesitation, I nodded in agreement. So, from that day on, I started following Camilla's weight gain plan. I switched veggies for greasy foods, and my main meal was always late at night. I also changed water for milkshakes, but I did have to stop drinking them when the smell of milk alone made me feel sick. Seeing me eating crazy like that, my parents worriedly said,
Madeline, eating healthily is important, else your health will be affected.
But I ignored their advice. This time, I definitely had to gain weight. Finally, after a month of trying, I gained some weight. Yay! I looked a lot more attractive now, didn't I? I was studying myself in the mirror when I heard my phone beep. It was Parker. He was coming over tomorrow with a present for me. The next day, I put on this hot dress that I'd never felt confident enough to wear before, and I asked Camilla to help me do my makeup. As soon as I finished, I eagerly waited for Parker in the living room. The doorbell rang. I excitedly opened the door, but as soon as he saw me, Parker quickly said,
Oh, sorry, I have the wrong house.
Then he started to leave. Huh? He didn't recognize me? This will be fun. No, honey, you're not mistaken. It's me, your destiny.
Madeline? Is that really you? Oh my, how on earth can you be this big? We've only been apart for a month.
So, you don't think I'm prettier now? To my surprise, Parker shook his head.
No, you're so fat now. It doesn't look okay. Lose some weight.
Huh? This was so confusing. I thought he wanted me to be bigger. As annoying as this was, I still listened to Parker and tried to lose the weight I'd put on. So it turns out that losing weight is far trickier than it sounds. Actually, it's 1,000,000 times harder to lose it than it is to gain it. After a month of healthy eating and exercise, I gained another pound. Ugh!
Stop eating that. Are you giving up already? You must try harder.
What? It's just some popcorn. Why does he have to be so rude about this?
I'll give you 2 weeks to lose weight. Else we're done.
Huh? What did he just say? Done? He was the one who wanted me to gain weight in the first place. Now he was threatening to break up with me if I didn't lose it. How ridiculous. You know what? I don't need 2 weeks. Let's end it right now. It's clear you never loved me at all. You only like my appearance. If you truly cared about me, you wouldn't care what size I was. Then I walked off. Ugh, how could I have been so stupid? For the entirety of my relationship with that jerk Parker, I was blindly following him. I only cared about pleasing him, and it cost me so many things, including my best friend. I needed to apologize to her right away. I nervously knocked on the door, then waited. Finally, Valerie opened it, but on seeing me, she went to shut it. I'm so sorry. Just let me explain, please. Valerie, I'm so sorry. It was all because I was afraid Parker would leave me for you. But I realize now that he's a massive jerk, and I was an idiot for ever trying to change for him. Jeez, you're crazy. Parker is totally not my type. I scratched my head and told her about how terrible Parker had treated me and how I'd foolishly listened to him. Man, that douchebag! Then she hugged me. Valerie confessed to me that she'd been trying to lose weight by lowering her calorie intake, but the pounds weren't coming off. And worse still, she felt weak and tired all the time. I nodded in agreement with her. So, from then on, Valerie and I made a promise to love ourselves, regardless of what size we were, and to never let anyone try and change us. And look, that's Walker and Joel, our awesome boyfriends who love us just the way we are. And you know what? It feels so good not caring what other people think. So don't ever let idiots put you down. 'Cause when you allow yourself to just be you, then you can finally realize just how beautiful you truly are.
She's so pretty, just like a real-life Barbie. I wish my hair was as shiny and blonde as hers. This is what people think of me. But all I ever wanted was just to be a normal teenage girl, like everyone else. You see, ever since I was little, I stood out with my platinum blonde hair and turquoise eyes. People have always said I look like a Barbie. Hey, some of them even call me Barbie. My mom's always been super proud of my looks. She used to put me in princess dresses and sign me up for kids' talent shows, which I more often than not won. This led to media attention, and soon I was invited to model for some big brands. Back then, I was super excited about this. I loved all the praise and pampering, but unexpectedly, it was that early fame that made me gradually lose my freedom. Nora, go get dressed, quickly. I'm not showing up late for Anna's party. Yes, Mom, I replied as I reluctantly grabbed the clothes my mom had laid out on my bed. Nora, your natural hair is so beautiful. Before I even had a chance to reply, Mom was in there bragging about my natural blonde hair. Natural? Yeah, right. So it has nothing to do with the fact Mom makes me bleach it once a month? She made a huge deal a few months ago when she noticed my hair beginning to slightly darken. Then Mom dragged me from person to person, boasting to them about my achievements. Ugh! This was so tedious. So, when she was absorbed in convo with some guy, I sneaked over to the food table and grabbed a slice of cake. I was about to put it in my mouth when suddenly, from behind, my mother's stern voice resounded. Nora! Put that down this instant! Huh? It's just a small piece of cake. I was hardly going to balloon up after eating it. Then, without giving me time to argue, she snatched it out of my hand and said, Eat that, and you'll have to skip dinner and do cardio for 1 hour to burn all those calories off. Do you still want it? Jeez, there's no point arguing with Mom. So I grabbed my drink and went to the corner of the room. I was fiddling with my glass and feeling totally fed up when suddenly a guy came up to me and almost caused me to spill my drink. Oh my God, it's Philip, the hottest teen model in the scene right now. Sorry, are you Nora? I've heard a lot about you, but why are you standing here all alone? It's because I'm not really into parties like this. so we're the same. Then we started chatting, and before Philip left, he asked for my number. After that, he texted me every evening. Talking to him was so much fun. He was just so sweet and thoughtful, and he always sent me the funniest memes. How cute! One day, while we were chatting, he texted me, "Can I invite you to dinner? Let's say tomorrow evening?" Ah, was he asking me out on a date? Yay! But I had to ask Mom's permission first. Ugh. Mom, do you remember Philip, who we met at Anna's birthday party? Can I go to dinner with him tomorrow? Sure, I'll drive you there. No need, Mom. Philip will pick me up. No, I said I'll take you. No matter what I said, Mom still insisted, and if I didn't follow, she wouldn't let me go. Jeez. This was a date, not a fashion show that required a manager. The next evening, as soon as I walked down the stairs, my mom was at it again. Oh my, what are you wearing? Before I had a chance to reply, Mom pulled me into my room, took out a bodycon dress, and said, "You put so much effort into looking this way, so you may as well flaunt it. Besides, dating this boy could bring business deals for us." Gosh, I get it now. All this was just about fame and money. There Philip was. I quickly fixed my hair, then I confidently walked towards him. But when I had just sat down, before I could even greet him, out of nowhere my mother appeared and asked the waiter to arrange another chair for her. Philip gave me this bewildered look, but I didn't know what was going on either. Mom, what are you doing? We've always been together. You don't mind if I sit here, do you? No, not at all. Philip smiled awkwardly. Ugh, this was so embarrassing. When the waiter appeared with the menus, I was actually glad of the distraction. But, oh no, I didn't even have the chance to open the menu, but Mom had already finished ordering for us both. Grilled salmon with salad and no dressing. Ugh, how boring. Oh, but it gets worse. During dinner, my mom kept asking Philip questions like, "What do your parents do?" "Oh, they only run a small business. I thought they were the presidents of a corporation or something." It's unbearable. Stop it. It's none of your business. I was just asking. A flustered-looking Philip made up some excuse about having to do something. Then he left. That's it. Thanks to my mom, my first date completely failed. Frustrated, I left right after he did. I didn't say a word to Mom for the whole journey home. Things didn't end there, though. When we arrived home, she kept nagging about how I shouldn't hang out with Philip, as he wouldn't be of any use to my career. Don't you think you're being too much? I can date whoever I want to. You know what? I don't want you to be my manager anymore, and I'll be moving out on my own. Then I rushed back to my room and started packing. Honey, I was just worried about you. I'm sorry, she said and hugged me while sobbing. Please, don't leave me like your dad did. I can't live without you. Hearing that, my heart fell. She was right. Ever since Dad left, there was only her taking care of and loving me. She's a bit tough and over-controlling, yet she meant well, right? I texted Philip a few times to apologize, but he didn't reply. Nora, look straight. Nora, where has your charisma gone? Let's take a short break. What's going on? You seem distracted today. I sighed and started telling Eleanor about my date with Philip. Gosh, your mom's a total control freak. You need to be strong and stand up against her to win your freedom. Well, of course I wanted freedom, but where should I start? Suddenly my phone beeped and stopped my train of thoughts. It was Mom. Honey, Anna's sick, so I'm staying at hers tonight. Dinner's in the fridge, and don't forget to go on the treadmill an hour before bed. Love you. Yay! Tonight I'd be free and do whatever I want, so suddenly I came up with a brilliant idea. Yes, I was going to have a slumber party. Eleanor suggested we should order pizzas, and of course everyone excitedly agreed. So good. Suddenly, the door opened. My eyes widened in horror when I saw that it was my mom, and oh boy, she looked furious. Nora, What on earth are you doing? And you can guess the rest. She made all my friends leave, and worse, she forced me to wake up at 5 a.m. to work out. All this just because of a bite of pizza. Eleanor was right. I needed to put a stop to this by finally standing up to her. This is unbearable. So, as a stress reliever the next day, I decided to do something I always wanted. Wow, it's so cute. I know, right? It feels good to do what I want for a change. Nora, why are you here? How come you didn't answer any of my calls? Startled, I turned around to see my mother standing there glaring at me. I quickly covered the tattoo on my wrist with my other hand, but it was too late. Nora, how dare you get a tattoo without my permission? Get back in there and get it removed right away. No, Mom. My body, my choice. From now on, I'll make decisions about my own life. Everyone on the street stopped to look at us. Seeing that, Mom just glared at Eleanor, then dragged me over to the car. But how did she know I was at the tattoo studio? Right at that moment, my phone buzzed with an unknown AirTag device nearby. Wait, could it be? I quickly checked my stuff and oh my God, it's true. Mom had stuck an AirTag into a hidden corner of my bag. Why did you attach an AirTag to my bag? So I'm aware when you do stupid things like tarnishing your body with some awful tattoo. As soon as possible, you're getting it removed. I'm 18. I can do what I want. Eleanor was right. You just want to turn me into a puppet to control. I knew it. Nora, I forbid you to hang out with that girl ever again. She's jealous of you and wants to ruin your career. She just wanted to help me. Your behavior isn't acceptable. And she pulled me into my room and locked the door. You can stay there until you see sense. I banged on the door and shouted till my voice was hoarse, but it was no use. 3 days passed. Mom still brought me food, but she refused to let me out. Oh no. Did she want to keep me here forever? I hurriedly called Eleanor for help, but it didn't work. Why didn't she answer the phone? Then suddenly I saw an article reporting that a model had spoken up about how Eleanor had been tricking her to steal her vedette spot for a famous designer's upcoming show. And that model was me? Impossible. That did not happen at all. And I have not been in contact with the press. Then a thought crossed my mind. Mom? That's right. As my manager, she must have said this to the media to defame Eleanor. Meanwhile, Eleanor must think it was me who did all this. Ugh, no wonder she was ignoring my calls. Angry and disappointed with Mom's behavior, I decided to confide in my Twitter. Unexpectedly, after only 20 minutes, my post was shared quickly and the hashtag #RescueNora was at the top of the search. But then my mom angrily came in and confiscated my phone. Don't expect someone to come here and save you. The next morning, I was awoken by loud noises from outside. Huh? What was going on? I went to the window and saw a crowd of people holding signs saying "Free Nora" and "Let Barbie out." But wait a minute. I spotted some familiar faces. Eleanor and Philip. They were holding a big sign saying, "We want to see Nora." Finally, under the pressure of the crowd, Mom was forced to release me. Honestly, I was grateful to the people who supported me, especially Eleanor and Philip. Thanks to them, I dared to finally break my mom's unreasonable control and grip and be myself. So, I decided to move into my own place. As for my mom, I want to forgive her, but it's hard. I just hope she realizes what she did was wrong. Then we can try to rebuild our relationship. Oh, and one more thing. From now on, I won't bleach my hair, just to get doll hair like before. I decided to keep my natural hair color. It may affect my modeling career, but so what? It's my natural hair, and I like it. Anyway, as you can see, life's good, as I have my BFF Eleanor and my boyfriend Philip by my side.
Emma, your teacher, Mrs. Holm, called again. She said your grades are appalling and you don't pay attention in class. Why can't you be more like your sister? Yawn. Not this speech again. It's been like this ever since I started elementary school. In my mom's eyes, only my sister, Evelyn, inherited our dad's intelligence, while I'm just the senseless member of the family. Ugh, as if. She's only good with useless books. Bet she doesn't know anything practical, like how Dad's Ethernet company works and such. But whatever, I don't care. I'm full, I announced as I got up and went to my little headquarters, the garage. I was busy working on my own personal project, so I didn't have time to give a hoot about who my mom's favorite child is. Oh, you must be wondering what I'm working on. Well, this device broadcasts Wi-Fi. Sounds familiar, right? But my device is able to broadcast across the entire city. Not only that, the connection is stronger and much more stable than the Wi-Fi people use at home. And it's more convenient without all the cables and stuff. This is without a doubt my proudest work ever. And what a coincidence that a few days earlier at school, Mrs. Home announced that for the first time, the school was organizing an invention contest. Normally, I give school activities a miss, but this time was different. This contest could be fun, right? There was no time to waste, so I put all my spare time, day and night, into making my invention contest ready. And you won't believe what happened. I won first prize. And that's not all. One of the judges, Mr. Johnson, was so interested in my invention that he offered to invest in it. At first, I was kind of scared and hesitated to agree because, I was still in high school. But this was an opportunity of a lifetime, so how could I deny it, right? So after that, Mr. Johnson sorted out a manufacturing company and office space for me downtown. This is cool, but I prefer to work in my garage. It's just more convenient that way, with me still being at school and all. I upgraded my device and launched it to the public. And you know what? It was a huge success. Pretty much everybody in the city got rid of their old, laggy Wi-Fi devices and accessed mine. Then one day, I got a call from the local news channel asking to interview me and my family at home. Oh my god, yes! Oh, there's just one snag. I hadn't told my family about it yet because, I don't know. Maybe I just know there's no way they'd believe me? Like the time I got an A in my physics exam, and my mom instantly asked if I cheated. But, well, whatever. This is much bigger than that. So I quickly ran downstairs to the living room and excitedly told my family that the invention benefiting the town was mine. But Mum and Evelyn burst out laughing. So you're telling me that this Wi-Fi, which is broadcasting across the entire city, is your invention? Yeah, Mum, it's mine. Then Mum and Evelyn laughed even louder. Honey, it's bad enough you're failing at school. Please don't start lying. Ugh, forget about it. Why did I even try? Then, the morning after, when the doorbell rang, my mom opened it and saw a reporter and a cameraman. She couldn't believe her eyes. Mum and Evelyn exchanged panicked looks, then rushed upstairs to prepare. It was so hilarious. The hysterics continued as they interviewed my parents. I watched my nervous, sweaty dad stand there like an awkward statue, while Mum began bragging about me like, as soon as Emma was born, I knew she was a genius like her dad. I always encourage her to pursue her dreams. Jeez, and the Oscar goes to my mom. I didn't know she could act that well. To be honest, since I could remember, Mom never said anything nice about me. Ever. But now that she knew I was the mastermind behind the town's Wi-Fi, she would probably treat me differently, right? Wrong. Then one night I came downstairs for a glass of milk and overheard Mom and Dad talking in the living room. Emma is such a selfish child. How badly will this affect your business? The truth is, the company's going through tough times. But don't worry, we're trying everything we can. Huh? Did I do something? And what's wrong with Dad's company? I tried to eavesdrop more, but suddenly I heard my dad standing up from the couch, so I quickly ran upstairs to my room. The next day, Dad forgot to take his lunch with him to work, so Mom asked me to take it over. But when I got to his company floor, it was deserted. Huh? Where was everybody? Did everybody get a day off or something? But that couldn't be it, right? That evening, over dinner, I asked Dad. I went to your office at midday, but not a single person was there. What's going on? Mom suddenly put her cutlery down and gave Dad a shocked look. Is what Emma just said true? Dad lowered his head and sighed out. Yes, it's true. I temporarily shut the company last week. I didn't want you all to worry, so I didn't tell you. I'm sorry. What? How could you? You said you would fix it. That's when it hit me. But I deeply prayed it wasn't the truth. So I asked him, is it because of my device? Dad didn't answer me. He just glared sadly down at his dinner. But I knew what his silence meant. I was right. Suddenly, Evelyn stood up and screamed in my face. It's all your fault! You invented that stupid device, and now Dad's business is at stake! That's so typical of you. You never think before you act. Then she stomped off upstairs. I just sat there speechless. I just wanted my family to be proud of me, but instead, it seemed like they despised me more than ever. Then Dad turned to me and softly said, Emma, this isn't your fault. I was kind of waiting for my mom to say something, anything at all, but she didn't. She just cleaned up the table. I felt really bad about what happened to Dad. But hey, now I had to work even harder so I could provide for my family, right? After that, Mom completely ghosted me. As for my sister, whenever our paths crossed, she gave me a dagger look and muttered out mean comments like, let's see how long it takes for your precious business to fail. I tried to ignore her, but then she took it too far. One Sunday, I was in my garage working away when suddenly I heard loud noises coming from outside. I opened the garage door to see a crowd of people holding signs saying, we lost our jobs because of you, and no job, no future. My God, they were protesters. I think they were from my dad's office. Wait a minute. I spotted a familiar face. Evelyn? She was holding a big sign saying, my dad lost his job because of you. Eventually, Dad came out and dispersed the crowd. Then he called an emergency family meeting. How could you do that to me? The correct question would be, how could you do that to Dad? Thanks to you, dozens of people have lost their jobs. You're making people's lives miserable.
Enough, both of you. Evelyn, what you did was wrong. Families are supposed to support each other.
But Dad,
Didn't you just hear what I said?
Evelyn gave me a dirty look. Then she ran off to her room. I looked at Mom, who was leaning against the wall with her arms folded. Did she agree with what Evelyn did? Or was she on my side? My God, please say something. But to my surprise, after that, my mother started talking to me again, and she was actually being nice. She even started cleaning my room and workspace. Whoa, this was new. Had she finally accepted me? Then one day, I received tons of emails complaining about my Wi-Fi. It took me all day, but I finally found the cause of the problem. My laptop. Somebody had tampered with it. It didn't take a genius to figure out who it was. Evelyn, duh. But I needed proof, so I set up a trap. The next evening, when everybody was having dinner, I ran downstairs, quickly grabbed a piece of bread and said, I need to go run some errands. Oh, and can you please stay out of the garage, as I'm uploading some important files? Mom and Dad nodded and smiled at me. Evelyn, on the other hand, just rolled her eyes and continued eating. Well, at least I knew my plan was in motion. I walked outside and hid behind the bushes. So, what's my plan, you ask? Well, I set up my laptop so that when anyone opened it, it would automatically send a notification to my phone and turn on the camera so I could see who it was. I waited for an hour, but still nothing. Then suddenly, my phone beeped. Somebody was opening my laptop. They hadn't switched the light on yet, so it was too dark to see them, but I was 100% sure who it was. Time to expose.
What are you doing sneaking out here?
Evelyn? What was she doing out here? Wait, if Evelyn was here, then who was it in the garage? Not answering Evelyn's question, I ran like crazy into the garage to capture this intruder. And as soon as I turned on the lights, I couldn't believe who was messing with my laptop. It was Mom! What on earth was going on? I called a family meeting and told everyone what Mom did. Dad and Evelyn looked shocked and asked Mom why she did it. I just couldn't stand seeing your dad suffer anymore. He put his life into that company, and now he's just a laughing stock. Do you realize our neighbors and relatives have been gossiping about him? They think it's so pitiful that he lost out to his own daughter. So I did what any self-respecting wife would do. Was she serious? Why didn't she just talk to me? All I ever wanted was for her to talk to me. Nothing else. But no, she decided to go behind my back and try to sabotage my business instead. After her betrayal, I'd had enough. So I didn't speak to her and avoided her as much as possible. It was one thing for Mom to be cold towards me, but I never thought she was capable of doing this. This went on for weeks, and it got kinda tedious. Trust me, it's no fun trying to avoid someone in your own home. But then one day, I arrived back from school and saw Dad sitting in a corner in the living room, repairing his PC. Geez, he looked so miserable. That's when the truth hit me. This was his passion, and I took it away from him. Suddenly, I understood why Mom did what she did. She saw how disheartened he was, but knew he'd never say anything to me, because he's always supportive. But how can I fix everything? Should I give everything up so that my dad can reopen his company again? Ugh, why was this so hard to figure out? Wait a minute. I think I have the solution. You must be wondering what my dad was doing here. Well, I came up with the idea that we should work together. My dad's a pro with technology, so it didn't take long to show him how things work around here. Oh, and since my business has grown, we were able to employ some of his former work employees too. With Dad around to help, I have time to focus on my studies. Even Evelyn started helping out, and she was so good at it, I made her dad's assistant. Talk about a proper family business. Ha! As for Mom, we had a really long talk. I finally told her how awful her attitude towards me made me feel, and she apologized for everything she had done. I eventually forgave her. I knew she did that just because she loves Dad very much. So, after all that drama, we're now just one big happy family.
Hey y'all, your one and only Miley Cyrus is back once again with the Spencer sisters story. Things were getting more complicated, right? Where were we? Oh yeah, Scarlet was determined to bring keyboard warriors who cyberbullied her and Naomi to justice, and soon she accomplished just that. But Scarlet was shocked to her core to see a familiar face among them. That's Naomi? What in the world? Even your girl is shooketh. What's gonna happen next? Let's find out in this episode. From the moment their eyes met, Scarlet was completely dumbfounded. Scarlet,
Why? How could you, Naomi?
Naomi said nothing and just kept her head down, but Scarlet could no longer stand on her own feet. I'm okay. Naomi, a word, please. Why do you look like this? And why you did this? You know what? When those constant waves of comments tormented me, do you know how I kept my head above water? I told myself, I don't really know them. Their words can never hurt me. But I can't wrap my head around the fact that the one hurting me is my own sister. As soon as Athena got news from Scarlet, she dashed to the police station and then arrived in the middle of the sisters' argument. Scarlet, before you call me the worst names in existence, I want you to trust me and know that it's simply how I handle stress. Seriously? Hear me out. I was so happy for you in the beginning, but eventually jealousy just started creeping in. I felt small and insignificant living under the same roof as a head-turning popular big sister. It got worse when people on the internet started comparing me to you, and I felt like I was nothing but a piece of trash. Gradually, I found myself coming to your haters' forum, and that's a slippery slope. Being among them made me feel like I mattered, like those people actually listened to what I had to say. It's like I was finally someone, and I didn't want it to end. Before Scarlet could react, Athena couldn't stop herself from sobbing out loud, and the girls saw her. Mom? To their surprise, Athena suddenly slumped down.
It's all my fault. I led you two down this path.
Never have Scarlet seen Athena like this, and neither did Naomi. Where had the icy tyrant woman gone?
Naomi, you have to stop before it's too late. It will eat you up and swallow you whole.
Sorry, Mom, but if you're really my mother, you shouldn't have stopped me when you refused to help me. You could have just let me do whatever I wanted, and I could have figured it out the hard way myself. And from now on, I want to be free from you. I want people to know me as me, Naomi, not your sister. We belong in different worlds. Naomi, I can't even recognize you anymore. Naomi didn't say a thing and was gonna leave, but police officers immediately seized her. Just let her go. Then Scarlet and Athena returned to the suspects' lineup and saw that Finn was still there with an anxious look on his face.
Scarlet, where have you been? You okay?
Scarlet couldn't hold her anger any longer and screamed at the lineup. See how you've ruined our lives? Happy now? You carelessly threw around that bone-crushing, hateful language just for fun and never paid those on the other end any mind. Now you'll face my wrath.
You're Athena Kingsley of Elite Talent Management, aren't you? Why you... Oh, yeah, I am,
my mother.
Come again?
Yeah, she's my mother. Don't act so surprised. Mom, this is Finn, my agency's creative director. I'll go with her. Get home safe, okay? Wait here. I'll get the car. While waiting for Scarlet, Athena and Finn had a little chat.
It's a pleasure to meet the famous Miss Kingsley. I've heard great things about you. Oh, you've made quite a name for yourself as well, Mr. Finn Simpson. Well, that would be exaggerating. I see the way you look at Scarlet. I can tell there's something bubbling under it. She might look like a tough cookie, but she's my sweet, sensitive girl. Treat her well, or I'll crush you into a fine powder and scatter it on Mount Oblivion. You hear me? Yes, loud and clear. And Naomi, that girl's quite a handful, isn't she? Since she's under your management as well, keep an eye on her for me, would you? Yes, ma'am. Can't forget that. Right then, Scarlet halted the car in front of them.
Mom, let's go. Finn, you're still here? Well, I'll see you again soon. Bye. Scarlet and her mom didn't say a word the whole way. Perhaps they were both exhausted from today's crazy mess. If it were me, I would just lie down and sleep it off like a log till morning. Unexpectedly, Athena blurted out,
Scarlet, could you take me to your dad now?
Why so sudden?
'Cause I was still mad and didn't want to see his face. No, the truth is, I'm a coward who wouldn't dare face him. Until today do I have the guts.
They drove to her father's hospital room to find him sleeping peacefully. Let me wake him up.
It's all right. Let him sleep.
Then Scarlet went out to give them some privacy.
Remember me? It's been a hot minute, hasn't it? How come we only met again when you can't hear a word I say, let alone answer? I know you're still mad at me, and I was mad at you, too, but I've learned to live with it. And seeing how well you raised our babies made me feel much more at ease. I've done nothing to help them all these years, yet they turned on each other all because of me. I promise I'll make things right. Trust me, and please, forgive me.
Then Athena left right away, but little did she know, her voice did reach him.
If anything happens, call me right this instant, okay?
Right after their goodbye, Scarlet received a text message from Finn.
Wanna go for a walk?
This is the first time I've been to the beach at night. I love how serene it is. How did you find such a cool place?
There's so much you don't know about me.
Then they sat down for a heart-to-heart talk. The gentle breeze and the sound of waves soothed their jaded souls. Things do be crazy, right?
Kind of, but you've been so strong.
I'm sorry for dragging you into this, and thank you for staying by my side. It's been a while since I felt this calm.
And so long since I saw your carefree smile.
By the way, I just saw the news about an influencer contest, which sounds interesting.
Isn't it American Influencer? Yeah, I was about to tell you too. Want to sign up?
Do you think I can win?
Of course I do. You're good at everything you do, especially messing with me. I mean, my thoughts.
Okay, then where shall I begin? My looks, retake a soft skill course, and...
Enough about work, okay?
Scarlet was taken aback, then went with the flow. They gave each other the sweetest kiss ever. The golden moonlight shining on the shimmering sea made the night even more romantic. Okay, guys, you've seen enough movies to know what's happening. Shall we talk about Naomi a bit? After the incident at the police station, she had a mental breakdown for a week straight and isolated herself from the rest. She lived like a zombie in her own apocalypse till one day...
I've dwelled in misery long enough. This calls for a rebirth. Let the best version of me be born. And so she entered her transformation era, invigorated and ready. She even chopped off her long hair and went through minor plastic surgery to add some highlights to her face. I got the sort of perfect looks down. Nothing will stand in my way of success. Wow, gotta admit, she's kinda rocking this cool new look. Reminds me of my wrecking ball era. During this time, Naomi still replied to her mom and Scarlet's messages, but meeting up was still a no-no. The only one she saw regularly was her dad, to whom she could pour out all her thoughts.
I'm much better now. You don't have to come so often anymore. This much back and forth is gonna wear you out.
It's what I want to do. Anyway, I'll be a bit busy this time around, so I actually can't see you as much. Please rest up so you can come home and celebrate my accomplishments.
All right, you betcha. Better get going then. Don't make them wait.
As soon as Naomi left, Mr. Spencer's smile disappeared. His expression was of pure agony. Maybe he's not doing as well as we thought. Hi, Finn. Long time no see.
Naomi, you look different, but in a good way.
Listen, I've thought it through. I want to go professional. Help me, will you?
Yeah, sure.
I want to join. No, I'll win this competition. As if on cue, Scarlet appeared. Naomi?
Oh, Scarlet, perfect timing. Naomi, featuring her brand new appearance, is back.
Do you know how worried I am?
Come on, she must have her own reason. Truce? By the way, Scarlet, have you decided on the influencer contest? Naomi is in it too. The stage is all yours, ladies.
She's joining too? No, two sisters competing against each other in the same competition at this time is like kicking off the Third World War. No thanks, I'm not interested anymore. Losing interest all of a sudden? I want to compete fair and square with you. So put away that patronizing attitude. I don't need it. No, I don't. I just... Fine, watch me.
Come on, relax. You both win, okay?
Scarlet and Naomi exchanged sulky looks, but can't hold it for long before bursting out laughing for no reason.
Come to think of it, Naomi is very much like your mom, full of determination and ambition.
Yeah, I took after Dad and got the easygoing gene. I guess that happens to every sibling duo.
True to her words, Scarlet followed a laid-back lifestyle, which drew lots of fans to her. Now, this is not just a job, but also a passion of hers, sharing good tips and spreading positive energy to everyone. Meanwhile, Naomi was hard at work to be ready for the competition. She tried to grow in every aspect, and pushed herself hard in the gym. She also read tons of books and joined courses to enhance every skill she thought might be necessary. 24 hours a day didn't seem enough. There were days when she worked her butt off till bedtime, and she simply let her body crawl into deep sleep without changing into her PJs or doing her nighttime skincare routine. Still, Athena and Scarlet always kept a worried eye on Naomi.
Naomi, we can help!
I'm sorry, but I need to focus. I'm so sorry. I want to make you proud, and I can't afford any distraction. When Scarlet told Finn, he said he'd handle this. Since then, Finn spent more time with Naomi and her advisor, and they became close. Scarlet saw how Naomi brightened up, but couldn't help but feel uneasy. Of course she'd feel that way, Finn spending less time with her. Scarlet, wake up! Now is not the time for this nonsense! I feel you, girl. There's something I hadn't told you. After that night's big kiss, Finn professed his love, and they became an item. Yay! The competition finally commenced. Scarlet, Athena, and Finn were in the audience awaiting Naomi's performance. Out of the blue, Scarlet got a call from her dad's personal nurse.
Scarlet, your dad's condition is getting real bad. You'd better get here now.
Should we tell Naomi about this?
Of course we should. Yes, you'll regret not telling her.
Right then, the host announced it's Naomi's turn. Scarlet immediately ran up and dragged Naomi backstage.
Naomi, we have to go! It's Dad! He's getting worse, I'm afraid!
What? Dad? I just saw him a few days ago and he was fine.
Why now?
I don't know.
Scarlet, I'm sorry, but this is my last chance.
Please take care of him for me. I have to go. Then Scarlet, Athena, and Finn immediately left, but they were only a few steps away when they saw Naomi black out on stage. At the same time, Mr. Spencer was also fighting his own battle. His prognosis was bad.
We're sorry. We've tried our best.
No! Dad! Please don't go. Dad!
You're awake. Calm down.
What were you dreaming about to be sweating like this?
Dad! Where's Dad?
Then there was a familiar voice from the bed next to hers.
I'm right here.
It's truly a blessing that Mr. Spencer's no longer in critical condition. And you fainted on stage and were taken to the ER. Some time had passed when their dad and Naomi became stable.
I couldn't remember the last time we went here together.
I still remember how much I hated this place, but now I think it's grown on me. I can kinda appreciate it now.
Why did you suddenly want to go home and leave everything behind?
I've always wanted to make something of myself, so I chased after something I didn't really understand like crazy. The moment I saw Dad left us for heaven, I felt dead on the inside. Even though it was just a dream, I can now look back and safely say I was wrong all this time.
You know, to me, being in show business means creating values for your audience.
Fame is sort of a byproduct, not the end result. Being famous feels almost unreal, like a fever dream. Those who flatter us today might turn their back on us the next day. Only familial love will remain till the end, unconditionally. Mr. Spencer returned to his beloved diner, and today's special since these four were giving him a hand. Sit down. I got this. Hey, my help expires today, old man. Enjoy it when you can. I ain't here tomorrow.
Oh, hey, I saw your daughter on TV yesterday. She really is going places.
She's a whole package. A beautiful face and a heart of gold. I saw her on a charity program, too. Scarlet was still shining bright in her own way. You're actually looking at the receiver of the Influencer of the Year award. But now, she's got another loyal fan for herself. Alright, that's about it, folks. Phew, just telling you guys this story gave me a spinning headache. Luckily, everyone has their own happy ending. Scarlet and Finn are getting engaged next month. Oops, that's not in the script. Shh, I didn't tell you nothing. Being famous seems great and all. But remember, don't let it control you. Comment below if you want to see me in another episode. Mwahs!
Everything was like a dream, until one morning Will and the other villagers had to go harvest the crop, and I stayed home to help with some chores. While I was hanging the cloves, I got all shook up by a familiar voice.
What do you think you're doing, Mia?
Mom? Why are you here?
I should be the one asking that question. Guard, take the princess away, now!
The two guards immediately followed Mom's orders. Each took one side of my arms and led me away. Are we playing Interpol and the Wanted or what? Get off of me! I can walk by myself. I moved forward but couldn't help turning around a few times to look at Wellspring Village before I got out of sight. I didn't even have a chance to say goodbye to anyone in the village. She meant she didn't get to see Will off. Nah, you idiot. She meant she didn't get to kiss him goodbye. Mwah, mwah. Shut up, you two. Right then, Grace and Liam turned to look at me, extremely worried. Don't look at me like that. I was just talking to the moon, you know. I meant to myself. The queen interrupted me.
Don't you think I deserve some explanation for your ignorant act, Mia?
Before I could say anything, Liam came to my defense.
Your Majesty, please don't be mad at the princess. I'm also at fault.
I wasn't asking you!
I felt grateful but also sorry for Liam. He had helped me cover up my outings, yet got dragged into all this mess. Mom, how can you call it a charity program when all you do is get dressed up, have lavish parties, and take pictures? I was just trying to help my people. Real help. So if anyone was acting ignorant, it was not me.
Your Royal Highness, the princess did not mean that. She meant... You even dared to speak for the princess? Speak for yourself. I trusted you with the princess's safety, and you dared to go against my order and let her out. You're fired, Grace.
No, you can't do that. Grace has nothing to do with this. It was me.
That's enough, Mia. It's time you grow up and learn to be a true princess. I have decided to move up your engagement ceremony with the Duke. Within the following week, you better behave yourself.
What? No way, Mom! No matter how hard I tried to call her back, she didn't turn around. Aren't you gonna do something about it? You and I have to stop this stupid marriage.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? We don't have feelings for each other.
Mia, you and I both know we cannot go against the royals' rules. Plus, I wasn't about to say this, but affection can be built up with time.
Yeah, you're right. You shouldn't have said that. Then I stormed off. When I walked past Grace, her frozen face and teary eyes hurt me even more. The next couple days, the guards followed me 24/7. Are you gonna go in with me or what?
I'm sorry, Your Highness. I'll wait outside.
Another time, feeling extremely bored, I took a stroll around the palace. Why are you following me from behind like that? Am I your prisoner?
Pardon me, Your Highness.
Then he swiftly walked in front of me, leading the way. How dare you walk in front of me? Are you the king?
I'm sorry?
So he slowed down and walked side to side with me. Hey, you are not my friend to be walking next to me like that.
Your Royal Highness, I'm not allowed to walk behind you, in front of you, or next to you. Please tell me where it should be then.
Ugh, can't he just figure it out himself? I walked off, leaving him wailing behind. How embarrassing.
Your Highness!
Of course, this time I knew that there was no way I could escape the palace. Having no one or no place to turn to, I could only seek solace from Dad. Every day I went to his room, talked or read a book to him. I missed all the fondest memories of us two traveling and having fun together. That was during Halloween when I was 10. Dad and I dressed up as Anna and Elsa without telling anyone and showed up in front of someone's house.
Trick or treat! King Daniel? No, wrong house, sorry.
Turned out the man was a reporter, so he instantly recognized Dad. Gosh, that time was so hilarious, I thought I peed my pants while running. But those happy carefree days were long gone. Even though I knew Dad was in a deep sleep, I still poured my heart out, telling him everything that had happened. I learned to be a true princess. Every Friday, the whole village would gather around a bonfire to tell him that I was about to be married to someone that I had no feelings for. I miss you so much. Please wake up and put an end to all this. I can't even talk to Mom anymore. Then, I found myself sobbing next to Dad. The next couple days, I couldn't help thinking about Will and the villagers. Does he know I'm about to get married? Just then, I heard some maids talking at the corner. Have you heard about the crazy guy trying to break into the palace? Yeah, he tried to disguise himself as a food supplier, then as a garbage truck driver, and even risked hiding himself in the fish reefer just to get inside the walls. I suddenly felt a thump in my chest. What does he look like? Do you know his name? I don't know his name, Your Highness. He's quite tall and has dark hair. It gotta be Will. I wonder if he's okay. One night I was with Dad, reading for him as usual. I must have dozed off there and been taken back to my room, as I found myself woken up in my bed, hearing all the noisy altercations downstairs. I stepped out to the balcony to see what was going on there, and I couldn't believe my eyes. There he was, being taken away by the royal guards. What is he doing here? I immediately went to find the queen. What's going on, Mom? Why are the guards taking Will away? He has quite some nerve to break into the palace asking to meet the princess. Please let him go, Mom. Don't you think he needs a lesson or two? If he doesn't leave here safe and sound, you will not have me for the wedding with Liam tomorrow. Are you threatening me? How dare you? There's nothing I wouldn't do. Saying that, I left. I never went this far, but that's the only way I could protect Will. I returned to my room when everything was quiet again. Suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder and almost screamed out loud. Grace! Shh! Why are you here? How did you get in here? Oh God, I missed you so much. Are you doing okay these days?
I got in while the guards took Will away. And I'm fine, Your Highness.
You saw Will too? Is he fine? Did he get hurt somewhere?
Will is fine, don't you worry. And actually, I'm here to take you to meet up with Will. We have a plan to help you escape the engagement ceremony tomorrow.
Then, Grace gave me a truck driver uniform and I quickly got changed. I hopped on the truck and Grace drove it to the gate. That was when we got stopped by the guards.
Stop there! Who are you and where are you going? Did I see you come in? We're supplying food for the wedding tomorrow. We have been here since this morning.
The guard gave me a look as I felt my heart pounding in my chest before he finally let us go. Phew! Out of the palace, Grace immediately drove us across the forest at a speed faster than the Flash driving the truck. Slow down, Grace! But she didn't reply to me. Instead, she accelerated. I held onto the car as my heart almost jumped out of my chest, and we finally made a stop. As I got out of the car, I realized we were standing by a rocky cliff. Didn't you say we were meeting up with Will? Why are we here? It looked kind of scary. But as I turned around, Grace was right behind me. Grace, what are you doing?
I lied to you. There was no arrangement between Will and I, just us two here.
But why? Stop, you're making me scared. Why can't you see it? We're in love. Who? You and Will? No, the Duke who will be engaged to you by tomorrow. We're together. That sounds nice. I mean, you and Liam together? But since when? We met and knew each other before, but we only developed feelings for each other recently when we spent time together at the lodge. But then you stole him from me. Suddenly, Grace lunged to push me to the end of the cliff. No. You know Liam and I. We both don't want this marriage. Before I could finish, Grace broke down crying. I knew that. I know you don't want him either. But Liam and we talked about it and he said there was no way we could be together. As I gave up royalty and I'm just a commoner now. And worse, it seemed like Liam was going along with the royal order and accepted this marriage. I don't know what to do anymore. I've never seen this side of her. To me, Grace had always been the toughest, most responsible bodyguard who protected me through everything. But she's just a girl after all. I gave her a warm hug and felt tears streaming down my face as well. The next morning, everyone gathered to witness the moment Liam and I became an official item. But right when Liam was about to put the ring on my finger, I immediately took my hand back. I oppose this marriage. When I was about to continue, someone else spoke up.
We also oppose the marriage.
I was shocked to see Will leading other villagers in.
During the charity program, while the royal family was busy fooling around in that luxurious lodge, the princess was the only one who actually cared to even visit our village. If anyone deserves happiness, it should be the princess.
That's right. The princess deserves to be with someone she loves and live happily ever after.
That's right.
I was so touched to see the familiar faces I hadn't seen in a while. Then I saw the smile and endearing look from Will. Can someone get more handsome after just a few weeks like that? Liam suddenly spoke up.
I oppose this marriage because I'm in love with someone else. Grace, I used to be a coward for not standing up against the royal's order. I thought I wanted to pay back the king for helping my father in the past. But the princess and everyone here made me realize I only had one life to live and I can't afford to hurt anyone. Not Grace, not the princess either.
The crowd fell into chaos, and I could feel the queen boiling up. Right then, a stern voice came, silencing everyone.
This morning, the princess was up very early, went to find me and cried her heart out, disrupting my sleep. So, I had to wake up to announce this marriage is off. Instead, the princess is allowed to be with whoever her heart desires.
No words could describe the burst of happiness I was feeling as I lunged to hug Dad. But that wasn't it. Dad also decided to make Will the baronet of his village to oversee developments from now on.
You two have my blessings, and could return to Wellspring Village from today.
Hand in hand, Will and I ran out of there, amidst the loudest cheers from all Wellspring villagers and other wedding guests. With the king's approval, I returned to the palace and packed my things to leave. I saw the queen on my way out, but she just turned away coldly without saying anything. Guess some things never change. When everything was ready, Marcus suddenly came to find me.
Your Highness, the queen actually loves and cares about you a lot.
Is that so? She didn't even bother to see me off.
There's something about the queen I think you ought to know.
Marcus and I went to the garden for a private chat when Marcus shared the untold truth about my mom. She was actually a commoner when she married to Dad. Right after the marriage, even though she had become the queen, the royal family never showed her the respect she deserved.
That was why the queen always tried her best to act royal and cover any traces of her humble background. You might think she's always been too strict, too controlling to you, but deep down the queen just wants you to fit in and never be looked down upon like she was.
Seeing me deep in thought, Marcus continued.
Please understand, it was just her love for you. She's a mother after all, who happened to be a queen as well.
I ran to find the queen, who was sitting quietly in the library. She looked like she had cried a lot. Your Majesty, Marcus had just seen me. I know everything now about you and the royal family.
Is that so?
Seeing her still putting up her cold front, I ran to hug her, something I hadn't done in a long time. You could have just told me how much you had to go through. And you could count on me whenever it gets tough, you know? We're a family. I felt warm tears on my back.
I'm so sorry, Mia. I've been so controlling that I forgot you have always been a kind, lovely daughter of mine. I was trying to help you, but I forgot I wasn't giving you the right kind of help. I'm sorry, my darling.
With the Queen's blessing, I went off to Wellspring with Will, and 3 years have passed since. I've built for myself a little family. Mama! Papa! Look who's here! I turned to look and saw the King and Queen approaching us.
Look how much my little boy has grown.
Everything looks so different here. I almost didn't recognize this place anymore. All thanks to the princess for bringing lots of agriculture specialists in here. Our crops have been better than ever, and we have more than enough food for everyone. Now we are trading with other towns, too.
That's right. We also have drinking water now, and men are coming back to help build the village as well. Well, my little Mia has become a great princess, huh?
It's not me. It's a blessing from you both, Your Majesty. When I was figuring out what to do next, someone passed by. He was tall and handsome, just like a male character walking straight out of a Japanese manga. But why does it have to be in this embarrassing situation? After what feels like an eternity of bombastic side eyes, he finally got close to me, opened his bag, and pulled out an old pair of shoes. I was dreaming about how he would help me put them on, like in the movies when he coldly tossed the shoes next to me.
That should do.
Then he just left. Hey, you! Can't you at least help me get out of this? The guy sighed, then turned around to help me. Do you even know who I am?
Of course I do, Your Highness.
What's with that attitude of yours?
The royal family never cared to visit this poor village. Why is Your Highness troubling herself here?
Is that so? Well, if that's the case, I want you to show me around so I know how my people are doing. Stranger. The guy seemed surprised at my request, but then put on the sweetest smile.
My name's Will, and of course, I can give you a tour.
Holy Mother of God. If his judgy look was enough to make you question your self-worth, his smile could make you feel like you're the luckiest girl in the world. But before you can wander around, you need to blend in first. People here don't really like the members of the royalty. Then he gave me some old clothes from his bag. You can go in there. What? Do I look like I belong in there? No one's gonna judge you. Except some chickens, maybe. Hey, I can behead you in 1 second. I'm just kidding. You're safe in there. This was really the middle of the cornfield. So I had to go in and got changed quick. This Will guy's better not be fooling around. And he did not. He walked me around and told me about the lives of the villagers here. I was shocked to see the houses in such poor conditions. How come I only see women and children here? Where are all the men? Young people, especially men, all went away trying to find jobs. The living conditions here are hard. I see. But then, who helps take care of the kids and the elderly? We're all just a big family, so everyone kind of counts on each other to make it through. And you're the only guy around? Actually, I was going to leave too. But then I just didn't have the heart to, so I decided to stay here to take care of everyone. I was shocked to learn about everything. All this time while I was sheltered in my gated castle, attending useless events at the lodge in name of charity. People out here have been struggling. And this guy, Will, has done more for others than I ever did. I was wrong about him. Right then, a piercing voice came shaking the earth beneath my feet. Your Highness! What do you think you're doing? Oh my God, what kind of rags are you dressed in? Are you trying to harm the princess? Guards, restrain him! No, Grace, I'm fine! Look! The guards finally let go of Will. You can't be out here, princess. You have to return to the lodge ASAP before word gets out. Next thing I knew, I was escorted away. Thank you! I'll return the shoes to you! Man, Grace is always a party pooper. As soon as we got back to the lodge, Grace instantly turned into a talking machine, going on and on about how dangerous it was, how reckless I was. But you know, one of my greatest strengths is selective listening. So I take what she said with a spoon of salt. I mean, a grain of salt. Everything I just said to you goes in one ear and out the other, doesn't it? Yep, you got that right. Anyway, I had this idea while cruising around the village. I want to help better the lives of the people there. What else, princess? I'm serious. It's like I finally found my life's purpose as a princess all these years. Just don't get yourself into trouble is all I'm asking for. You got it. That night, I racked my brain trying to think about how I could help the villagers. Aha! I'll give them the nicest things in the world, just like how the fairy godmother helped Cinderella. So the next day, I ordered my servants to pack boxes of gifts to deliver to Will and the other villagers. If you could have anything from the royal family, what would you want? I'm so sorry, princess. I don't know what I did wrong. Please don't fire me. Chill out. You're not fired. Just answer me. I don't know. Maybe expensive clothes made out of cashmere or mulberry silk would be nice. Right. Pack all the royal gowns then. From blueberry silk, of course. Princess, it's mulberry. Yeah, that. What else? Get all my tiaras too. But that's your tiaras, princess. Nah, I never wear them anyway. Oh, don't forget some royal tableware and tea sets too. I want my people to have the most enjoyable dining experience. After having the gifts sent over, I also gave the order to build a tea house in the village where people could read and have a cup of tea together. It feels so nice to finally be able to do some real charity. In the days following, I still had to resume my charity duties at the lodge, namely helping out with the laundry. But of course, it was just for photos. Feeling exhausted, I decided to get a massage with Liam and Grace afterwards. But who knows, it would tickle so much. It's like 1,000 feathers poking at my soles. Your Highness, are you okay? Looks like you're dying over there. Help! Help me! Strangely, after the massage disaster, it was like something clicked among the three of us. We would hang out together, and our favorite thing to do was spilling the tea about the royal family. Well, not literally. The queen mustn't know about this. Nah, it's fine. The queen always acts tough and strict, but did you guys know that she's actually scared of the microwave? Your Highness! I heard some other rumors on the streets too. A royal member once snatched a scarf from a woman and never gave it back just because they liked it so much. Oh, I bet it's Princess Aurora. She's crazy about fashion and all that nonsense. We never get along though.
But just when a maid was putting down a spoon next to me, the butler suddenly flew off the handle.
This is the dessert spoon, and that is the teaspoon. How could you not know this?
I'm terribly sorry, Princess. I'll...
It's just a spoon. You're excused. Don't worry about it.
Agreed. We don't care about those stupid rules. Now, if you could leave us alone. They finally left. Ugh. I wonder if these people ever got bored of themselves being boring. Even though I had fun with Grace and Liam for the past couple of days, I've been longing to get out of the lodge again and explore the grounds. So one time, while Grace was back at the palace running some errands, I immediately took my golden opportunity. I was so excited to see how my people were doing with all the nice things I've sent to them. Oh, I bet they're looking as elegant as the royal family now. Maybe they're busy riding the horses I sent. Oh, actually, they might even be having a tea party now. I can't wait to join them. But when I got there, the village looks the same. And is that the sovereign's orb they're playing with? No, that's not a toy, and you're holding it upside down. That's when I turned to see, by the river, the woman pounding on the cloves with golden golf clubs from the late king. Just when I was heading towards them, I caught sight of the tea house, full of pigs, horses, and chickens inside. Did they seriously turn my elegant tea house into a barn? I guess animals are having a grand tea party in there. Right then, some woman passing by noticed me. Is that the princess? I can't believe she still has the audacity to show up here. I thought she was different, but she's just like the rest of the royal family. A bunch of useless, ignorant snobs. They don't even know what we need. What's all the use in these luxuries when we can't even afford basic necessities? I felt like reality had smacked me in the face for the first time in my life. Turned out I wasn't helping them at all. Just then, I saw Will nearby, but upon seeing me, he just sighed and turned away to leave. Trust me, all I wanted was to help out, but I just don't know how.
You should just go back to your lodge, princess.
No, let me stay here and live with everyone to understand what my people are going through.
That's not possible. You grew up with abundance and wouldn't last a day here.
That's why I want to learn, so I could really be helpful and give everyone what they need. Please help me, Will. He still seemed hesitant. Just treat me like everyone else here. I promise I'll try my best. Will seemed surprised at how determined I was, and he agreed to give me a chance. I was over the moon and ready to start a new venture. But when I got back to the lodge to pack my things, I was informed that the charity program was over and all of us were to return to the palace the next day. I had to go find Liam. Seeing him reading in the garden, I told him I had some emergency that needed my attention here and asked if he could help cover up for me. I was ready to get on my knees if I needed to when...
Sure thing. Just do whatever you need to.
But aren't you mad? I know I was supposed to be spending time with you just as the queen wanted me to. You know, the marriage and stuff.
Girl, I got your back.
Saying that, he got on the phone with my mom.
Your Majesty, the princess and I are enjoying our time together so much and wish to be allowed to extend our stays here.
And of course, the queen was more than happy to agree. But I knew there was one more obstacle to overcome. Grace! When I told her I needed to live outside the lodge for a while, she immediately opposed the idea. I'm serious, Grace. I know you worry about me, but I am the princess. I'm supposed to help the very people I rule, but I failed to do that so far. And I'm here enjoying my privileges on my people's hard work. What kind of princess am I? Plus, Liam and I don't have feelings for each other anyway. Grace, you gotta help me. After long hours of arguing, Grace finally caved. I was so ecstatic that I jumped over to hug her. Giddy up! Only, life in the village was slightly different from the palace. People here actually grow their own food. Doesn't everyone's food come from the store?
No, we don't have stores here. Everything comes from the ground.
Even my afternoon chocolate shake with 2 pumps of mocha?
Yes, even your chocolate shake with 2 pumps of mocha. In fact, I bet it's even better. I'll make one for you later.
Just then, I saw Miss Estelle struggling to pluck up the carrots, so I came over to help her. Don't you worry, I got this. But, who knew the carrot was holding on to dear ground? Just when I was about to give up, it suddenly came off the ground and ended up flying straight over my head, hitting, well...
maybe it's better you go feed the chicken.
But when I approached the chicken, I saw an egg on the ground, so I picked it up. The chicken suddenly turned to look at me as if they all spotted their sworn enemy. All that was left to do was run! Not until Will came in and saved the day did all the chickens calm themselves down. You seem to know a lot about life here.
Of course, I've lived here since the day I was born, though I don't really know who my parents are.
Where are your parents?
I'm actually an orphan, being brought up by the people here. They didn't have much, but were raising me with all their hearts. That's why I want to stay here and take care of them now that they're getting older.
I was touched by his story and realized how nice people could be to each other, against all odds.
Let's go fix the roofs. The storm's coming.
Is there something you can't do, Mr. Know-It-All?
Well, actually, yes. I've been living here for so long, I don't know how to impress a girl.
Who are you kidding? I bet girls are dying to sweep you off your feet already.
Are you?
For a second, I found myself lost in the dreamy haze of his eyes. No, Mia, you're here to help others, not to fool around. Come on, let's go fix the roofs. Later that day, Will led me to the garden and showed me the traditional way of making chocolate.
And just like this, you keep grinding until it becomes a thick paste.
I got to try it with Will holding my hand. The two of us were so close together. I could hear my heart pounding against my chest. Is this the rush they all talked about in the fairy tales? When we finished, Will made a fresh batch of hot chocolate and gave me one. When I took a sip, a rich, nutty, and earthy flavor instantly warmed me up inside. Will was right. This is better than any Starbucks I ever had. The following days were the most fun I've had in my entire life. I still found it hard to navigate through the hardships here, but Will was always by my side. And the people here, once I got to know them better, they all started to warm up to me too. Every Friday, the whole village would gather around a bonfire to tell each other the oldest tales.
Enough with the nightingale. I want to know when we'll hear the happy ending for the tale of Mir and Will. We all know the happy ending is as clear as day already.
I found my cheeks warming up to the jokes. I wondered what was on his mind as I caught Will blushing also. Everything was like a dream, until one morning Will and the other villagers had to go harvest the crop, and I stayed home to help with some chores. While I was hanging the cloves, I got all shook up by a familiar voice.
What do you think you're doing, Mia?
Hi, I'm Miley Cyrus. You've probably heard some of my songs like Wrecking Ball, The Climb, and Flowers from my latest chart-topping album, Endless Summer Vacation, although my most loyal fans have known me since my Disney Channel days. This story isn't about me, though. Today I'm narrating the life of a young star from the South, just like me. I'll tell you why later. For now, please like and subscribe. I know all about being famous at a young age, and trust me, no glory comes without blood, sweat, and tears, and Scarlet Spencer was no exception. Her journey to stardom began in a small town in Texas. Her mother passed away long ago. Still, she grew up happily with her dad who owned a little diner, and her baby sister Naomi. These two were polar opposites. The quiet, introverted Scarlet helped out at the diner, while Naomi, who was in high school, lived and breathed social media. Give me a phone, mine's out of juice. Man, this brick's been only to call and text for years. It should have something new. In case you still haven't figured it out, well, Naomi's creating an Instagram account under her sister's name to post pics. Give it back! I need it now! Naomi, I already said I don't like social media. What's with this photo and the Ritz-Carlton and ridiculous caption? We were just there for Dad's delivery. Relax. Everybody has a social media presence these days. That photo will get you tons of hearts and followers. Honestly, if my sister ever did that to me, she would have been 6 feet under by now. But Scarlet let Naomi off the hook, because to her, Naomi was her bestest friend, who she could tell everything to, while Scarlet was the best sister she could ask for. Naomi knew she'd never find anyone else who'd satisfy her every whim like that. They frequented this spot by the lake for a stroll, a jog, or simply pouring their hearts out. I want to go where culture is, like New York or LA. The only thing exciting in this town is probably a party bus that comes by every millennium. You're a big dreamer, and that's good, but isn't a peaceful and quiet life nice too? Bless their hearts. They have no idea what's in store for them, but it's really hard to imagine that their uneventful lives could change. All of a sudden, when their dad got in an accident and lost his job. With no relatives, the family was dealt the worst hand. Scarlet alone couldn't manage the diner, Dad's medical bill, as well as Naomi. Then one day, their dad set them down, looking seriously insistent. I know that this is a lot to take in, but your mother, she's still alive. This is her. What? We got divorced and cut all ties long ago. I never spoke of it 'cause it's too complicated. Now that your old man is in this situation, you should go to your mother and shouldn't have to suffer because of me. Both of them were too shocked to speak. Scarlet went to her room, the photo squeezed tightly in her hand. Is this really my mother? When are we leaving? What are you excited about? All we have is this address and her photo. What if she won't accept us as her daughters? She abandoned us all those years, remember? It's still worth a try. Do you know, I've lost count how many times I've wished for a mother, and then this happened, like a miracle.
Scarlet tossed and turned all night because of what her father revealed just now, while Naomi thought long and hard about what she would wear. The next morning, the sisters got up early and went to the address on the note, which led them to a magnificent building, Elite Talent Management. They stepped inside with bewilderment written all over their faces. "Excuse me, we're looking for Mrs. Athena Kinsley?" "Perfect timing. Miss Kinsley's here this week for our statewide audition. In fact, she's right behind you." They were both in awe to see a woman who exudes sophistication and confidence. Naomi rushed to her. "Excuse me, ma'am, are you Athena Kinsley?" The woman gracefully turned around, lowered her shades, and scanned them both from head to toe. "Hello, I'm Naomi Spencer, and this is my sister Scarlet. We, believe you're our mother. Does the name Joseph Spencer ring any bell to you? He's our dad. He told us to come find Mom. You." That was awkward, but they got a reaction out of the Ice Queen. She was shooketh, but quickly regained composure. "You two, come with me. Clear my schedule." The girls followed her with uncertainty. When they reached the elevator, everyone inside immediately got out. Some of them even bowed to her. During the elevator ride, Scarlet and Naomi looked at each other in confusion about this lady who's supposedly their mother. Athena got down to business as soon as the door closed. "I thought your father wanted you to forget that I existed. But here you are. Start talking." While Scarlet talked, Naomi looked around Athena's office with great excitement. Her eyes lit up when she saw a photo of Athena with Beyoncé. "Dad needs—" "Did you work with Beyoncé?" "Yes, she's still one of my clients. Miley Cyrus, Jennifer Lawrence, Britney Spears. I've worked with all of them." Surprise! The truth's finally out. I actually agreed to tell this story to return a favor Athena did for me when I parted ways with Disney. Rough times, but totally worth it. Okay, continue. "As I was saying, Dad needs physical therapy and a private nurse, but we can afford neither. He needs your help. Mom?" "This is the first time we've spoken in so long, and you're just asking for money? I'm afraid it can't be that easy." "Really? This is our father, your ex-husband. Jeez, why did I even bother coming here asking the person who abandoned us for help? Naomi, we're leaving." "Sit down. I didn't say no, but I won't hand you a huge bag of cash for nothing. Instead, you can work for it. You do have a pretty face and quite a feisty character, and I have everything you'd need to get far in this business. How does that sound?" That took a turn, but Naomi was even more surprised than I am. Why isn't Mom asking her, but only her sister? Her introverted anti-social media sister? "No thanks. I want a nice breezy life and zero limelight. We'll figure something out. Without you." On their way home, Naomi kept nagging Scarlet for refusing a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. "She left us. That was the first time we met after so long, yet she didn't fake a smile and even try to exploit us. Can't you see that?" "No, you assume she abandoned us. Dad kept her a secret all these years, so we must have lied about that too. Mom's offer is a win-win deal. Don't you see how respected she is?" Despite seeing Naomi's point, Scarlet was still stubborn. The way I see it, they don't have much time to argue, because right at that moment, their dad was having a heart attack. Luckily, the girls arrived home right on time and brought him to the ER. After hours in the ICU, his condition became stable, but needed further observation. Scarlet's face got paler with every word the doctor said about her father's treatment. I'm no accountant, but this bunch of hospital bills surely sounds bad. "Sis, Mom's offer still stands. Do something before it's too late." Scarlet reluctantly came to see Athena again. Before signing, Scarlet had a few demands. She'd receive a fair cut of the profit and will not owe Athena anything once the contract is no longer in effect, as well as a signing advance. Also, per contract, Athena would be Scarlet's manager. This is actually very common. My mom Tish has been my manager to this day, but that's me. I can't talk about her case. Scarlet immediately transferred her dad to the best hospital in Texas. Looking at his unconscious state, she got all the motivation she needed before leaving for the city, thoughts about her future swirling in her mind. From the start, Scarlet said she didn't want anyone to know they're related. Athena, being the professional she was, agreed. Then, Operation Ultimate Fashionista commenced. First off, an extensive daily workout for 3 hours with a personal trainer. Scarlet was used to physical labor, so she didn't break a sweat. But when she found out about the strict diet she had to follow, Scarlet realized she's in hell. "What's wrong with you? You make me work out but don't let me eat?" Silly girl. Don't you know the camera's at 10 pounds? You'll look like a manatee in your photos unless you lose weight. Almost forgot. Scarlet moved into Athena's mansion for her private training, while Naomi stayed home for school. At the moment, Scarlet was lonely on an empty stomach. I can understand how she's feeling, because I went through the same ordeal when I started touring at age 13. Scarlet decided to sneak out in the middle of the night to search for food. However, Athena was one step ahead and already locked the pantry.
Hey, sis, you caught me in the middle of my midnight supper. Oh my god, this food is bussin'. Anyway, how's Dad? I can't hear you. What's the weird noise? The sound of my pain and suffering. Watching you mukbang sure made it worse. Bye! And I'm sick of this food and this life. I need to find out how I can move to the city. Meanwhile, poor Scarlet could only sleep off her hunger, as she had to be up at 6 for training. Show business doesn't only demand talent and looks, but also the ability to handle being in the public eye. Sometimes you're a slip of tongue away from fading into oblivion. Media training was invented so we can learn to be public figures. That entire morning was spent on correcting Scarlet's posture, walk, and mannerisms. One more time, action! Hi, besties! Get ready with me to go to a ball! Stop! What now? Your accent. It's too distracting. Should we get rid of it? Perhaps tone it down a bit. It'll make her stand out. But we don't want too many risks. Risks? This is how I talk! Not anymore. That's enough for today. Thanks for coming in. Scarlet, of course, had no say in any of this. Now Athena's the one driving, and Scarlet's only in the passenger seat. Is she trying to make me a star or a slave? Can't she at least not look like Grumpy Cat and sound like a dictator all the time? Geez, I have to learn strange stuff and change so much about myself. There's nothing wrong with my waiter accent. What's all this for? Sis, everyone who wants to be famous has to learn everything you just said. And the people Mom works with are all big names in the industry. So cool! Mom? To her, I only exist during business hours. I'm sure she wants the best for you. How about this? Ask her if I could come live with you. I could be your mediator. The responsible big sister side of Scarlet thought that's not a great idea, but the lonely teenager in her was craving some company. So she asked and got Athena's approval right away. Naomi coming here is like returning to her natural habitat. This is amazing. Thanks, Mom. I can't wait to see this city. I don't have time to show you around. But here, take a cab and buy yourself something. Is it just me, or does she seem to get along much better with Mom? I totally see it too, Scarlet. When Scarlet's image became much more marketable, Athena got her first ever fashion photo shoot. But since this was Scarlet's first time modeling, she struggled the whole day, but couldn't seem to have any good shots. Let's try again. Remember, we want clean, athletic, smiley. Yeah, and she's giving dirty, tired, and paunchy. Everyone take 10. That's it! Look at all this stuff, guys. Isn't it crazy? Ah! What's wrong? Talk to me. I can't take this anymore. She is vicious. She doesn't give a flying crap that I beat myself up trying and orders me around like a puppet. This is draining me day by day. I'm exhausted. Naomi could only offer little comfort pats while listening to Scarlet's rant, but she's secretly thinking that her sister didn't know this was the life that others would kill to have. Little did Scarlet know, Naomi came to Athena immediately afterward. Mom, I want to be famous too. Make me. Sorry, that's a no. What does Scarlet have that I don't? I can do everything she does with a smile. You're only seeing this at a surface level. Scarlet's got that X factor. That's why I chose her. She's special, and you're not. That's it. She doesn't want that anyway. Who says? Show me. Never mind. Naomi sulkily walked out when she ran straight into Scarlet. What on earth happened? You wouldn't understand. This time, Scarlet got a better grip of the job and became more confident. Then her followers grew quickly when she had a few viral videos. Those numbers translate to more high-profile promo campaigns and countless PR packages from brands. Most of her free PR stuff went to Naomi, though. Scarlet got recognized and asked for photos more often whenever she went out, and she gradually and strangely loved it. Athena seemed to be satisfied and not giving her a hard time anymore, and even flashed the first smile. Most importantly, there's more money to go towards their dad's treatment. Thanks, my darlings. The doctors could proceed with every necessary procedure, so I'll be discharged any day now. By the way, does your mother treat you well? She'd better. Soon you won't need to bend over backwards anymore. When Dad gets better, this will all be over? Why do I suddenly feel kinda empty? Are you not happy to see Dad get better? What? No! Of course I'm happy for him! Right then, Naomi saw something that could change everything. What's that? Nothing. Scarlet's on cloud 9 to see all those times of intensive training, diet, and exercise finally bear fruits. Today, Athena even called her to her office. Maybe she wants to discuss the next trip, or plan to move to LA. I want to terminate our contract, effective immediately. What? What? You'll be compensated for this untimely breach of contract, which would be enough to cover everything, and— Hold on, why? You're no fit. Am I not getting more popular? What do you mean? You won't last.
But it can still be a source of income. Why cut it completely? More profit for you too, right? Isn't that your sole target in doing this? Or are you afraid that I'll come back to bite you once I've made it?
Watch your tongue. Regardless, we won't be working together. That's final.
Tell me, are you scared people will figure out that I'm your daughter? Right, you never even came to see my frail, bedridden father. I never needed a mother like you anyway.
Then a smack landed on Scarlet's face. She held her left cheek, eyes wide open, and glared at the person standing in front of her with great fury.
Hi, Ashley here, a superstar in the making. At least I was until the accident happened and I was left with a scar. With a huge audition coming up, my manager boyfriend Callum persuaded me to get my twin sister, Bridget, to pose on stage as me. She took on the glitzy parts of my life while I stayed in the background and recorded at the studio with David, my grumpy but talented music producer. It was only supposed to be until my scar healed, but then the doctor told me the devastating news. The scar was here to stay. Upset, I went around to Callum's for support and saw him there with Bridget. They were leaning in to kiss. I couldn't believe my sister and my boyfriend would do this to me. So with rage swirling through me, I karate kicked open the door and barged inside to confront the conniving snakes. How could you? My boyfriend and my own sister! He's your boyfriend? I didn't know. I'm so sorry. No, you did nothing wrong. I fell for her first, Ashley. Can you blame me? She's a flawless superstar. You'd understand because you used to be her. At least until you crumbled. I was freaking hit by a car, you douchebag! But it didn't matter to him at all. That's when it hit me. Callum never loved me. I was just a tool to him. You can't trust him, Bridget. It's only a matter of time before he decides you're no use to him anymore and ditches you, just like what he's doing to me right now. And I'm going to make sure the whole world knows what a jerk he is. Callum suddenly lunged towards me, then aggressively dragged me out of the house. You think you can threaten me with that big mouth? Who's gonna believe you, huh? You're just a shadow of Bridget, a flawed, pathetic version of her, so get lost. You'll never get away with this. Just you wait and see. Days later, I was still hung up on his cruel words, but I had to do something to take back what's mine. So I spent ages covering my scar with makeup, then showed up at an event I was supposed to attend. I confidently strutted up to the entrance. Whoa. Nice try, Ashley. But the scar gives you away. Try Kylo Ren next time. That stung. Feeling hopeless, I started walking, and my feet unconsciously led me to the studio. I turned on the lights and played my previous records. Surprisingly, my singing had improved one by one. So I turned up the song volume and sang and danced along. I was busting some crazy dance moves when I suddenly heard clapping. I didn't know you've got the groove. Come to think of it, I've never seen you this happy before. You have no idea what I've been through. I felt safe around him, so before I could stop myself, I blurted out what had happened. He insisted on taking me somewhere fun to cheer me up. Turns out David's fun place is the super cool Japanese fair. We shared some huge rainbow cotton candy and lit sparklers and drew musical notes in the air. Then, as we walked past a stall with some fantastically colorful masks, I stopped dead and stared at them. Hey, I have an idea. I should start a new singing career wearing a cool mask. I mean, it's not the most original idea since Sia and Marshmallow have already done it, but I can hide my face and Callum wouldn't even notice to stop me. That's actually a great idea. Here, this one looks cute on you. Holy cow! Red alert! Red alert! You're falling for this charming, handsome, talented music producer guy. It's on me, by the way. Consider it a lucky charm, okay? For sure. I swooned and was motivated to create a YouTube channel right away, starring me singing with my mask on, and used Vixie as my stage name. At first, I only covered other artists' songs, but as my confidence and following grew, I began singing the songs David helped me write. Although the netizens quickly spotted the similarities between my voice and Bridget's pre-recordings, they're both mine, but the difference is, one uses a ton of auto-tune and one does not. Then, one by one, I released more songs, and over the course of a few months, my channel grew to over 1 million subscribers. For the first time in my life, people actually saw me for my musical talents, not for the way I looked. So, to thank them, David and I spent weeks in the studio composing a special song called Thistles Bloom to release on Valentine's Day. Then one day, David was invited to the Grand Gala, which was a massive event full of the hottest stars, and he took me along with him. The party went off to a great start, and everyone was so complimentary about my music. I was dancing alone while David talked business with some music producer. But then, Bridget suddenly appeared and tried talking to me. "Vixie, hi! I love your look." I ignored her and went to leave, when suddenly I got this itchy feeling in my throat, and I felt my face begin to swell. I looked down and gasped when I saw pecans inside my muffin. "Oh no, I'm allergic to pecan." I ran to the toilet and took off the mask to catch my breath, when the bathroom door snapped open and in walked Bridget. "Come on, Ash, I already knew it was you." "Sorry, guys, the door seems to be stuck." She slammed the door shut and went trying to help me. I didn't want her help, but I didn't have much choice. I put my mask back on and let her place her jacket around my shoulders and sneak me out of there. She got her driver to pick us up around the back of the building and take me home. Then she made sure I took my allergy medicine. Don't expect me to thank you for this. No, after you left Callum's house, he told me you gave up singing for me and that you gave us your blessing. But when I saw videos of Vixie going viral, I instantly knew it was you, and he had lied to me. Yeah, he's good at doing that. I feel really bad for what happened, so I want to make it right. I'll give you back your place as a singer. You're serious? Absolutely. I was so relieved you hadn't given up on your passion. You have no idea how amazing you sound. Actually, I do, but I can't take all the credit. David helped me produce the song, and we're actually releasing it this Valentine. Really? I can't wait to hear it. Fine, you can hear the demo if you want. She loved the song, and I had to admit, it felt good having my twin back. A few days later, I was fully recovered from my allergy attack and feeling excited about my big song reveal. But then I went on my laptop and saw that Bridget had released a new song, Thistle Bloom, my song. I immediately called Bridget to find out what was going on. Surprised, weren't you? Now you know how I feel. I've always been inferior to you. It's about time you be the loser. Oh, and BTW, Callum and I are officially dating. He picked me over you, so did your fans. They definitely won't be fooled. I'll show them the truth. I went online and insisted that the song was my work. But not only did the netizens not believe me, but they also wanted me cancelled. This Ashley wannabe is so tragic. I always thought this masked girl was sketchy. She thought she was so sleek, stealing Ashley's song. I had to watch my subscriber count take a nosedive. All my hard work had gone to waste. I turned my phone off and just sat in a dark room, wishing I was beautiful again. Maybe people would believe me then. Suddenly, the door opened and in walked David. "You've been ignoring my calls and messages, so I came to see if you were okay. Seems you're not." "No, I'm hideous, and now my career is over." "Your career isn't over because of how you look. Can't you see? You're very talented, and you're all set to become a great artist. That's why Bridget is so jealous and insecure. She has to steal your work." So, people still believe Bridget because she's beautiful. No one wants to believe in this sketchy, masked girl who's too afraid to show her scarred face. Look, I can't hear most of the words you just said, but all I know is you can't let a minor setback like this stop you from doing what you love. He then took something out of his ears. Hang on, were they hearing aids? My hearing started deteriorating when I was 15. When I told everyone I wanted to work in the music industry, they all thought I was delulu. But 5 years later, and look at me now. Of course, it was hard for me too, but I never let my disadvantage get in the way of my dream. You really did it! Sorry, what'd you say? Oh, that actually made a lot of sense. If David could overcome this and continue to compose and produce amazing music, then I could overcome my body image issues and become a real singer in my own right and under my name. I started by snooping around my old fan pages and found out that Bridget was going to hold a press conference for the release of her latest album and perform Thistle Bloom. I devised a plan to get there before she did, and that includes David puncturing his own car tire and getting Bridget and her team caught in traffic. On the press conference's stage, I was shaking like crazy, but as soon as I heard the audience chanting my name, I knew I could do this. I stepped on stage, and while the crowd was too stunned to react, I quickly started performing an acoustic version of Thistle Bloom, and the crowd went quiet. I could see it in their eyes. They were moved. Then the screen behind me lit up and played a video of me and David working on the song. When my performance ended, the audience erupted in applause. I was overwhelmed with joy, but then a reporter suddenly stood up and asked, "Are you the masked singer Vixie? What are you doing here instead of Ashley?" I knew this was my moment of truth, so I took a deep breath, then removed my mask. I'm actually the real Ashley. The audience gasped in shock. Buzzing started spreading. I got the scar from a car accident. I was so hungry for fame, but believed I could never make it as a star with a scar. So I asked my twin sister, Bridget, to take my place. I'm sorry that we deceived you like that, and I promise that from now on, I will always stay true to myself, scar or no scar. Then I stepped down from the stage and walked past Bridget, who was trying to escape the reporters. She looked around and called Callum's name for help, but in typical Callum style, he was trying to blend into the crowd. Ashley, was the twin swapping plan your idea? No, it was actually my ex-manager's, aka cheating ex-boyfriend's idea. Wasn't it, Callum? I watched him look mortified as they swarmed around him. It seems like he's gonna have a hard time with his career in the future. That's karma for you. Then I strolled out of there with David waiting at the door, leaving all the buzzing behind me. I started living my life just the way I wanted and no longer cared what Bridget and Callum were up to. Then one day, I was driving home from the studio when I saw Bridget surrounded by some thugs. I called the police and then made sure she was okay. Turns out, Mom was in debt, and the collectors were now forcing Bridget to pay up. My life's a failure. I tried to be you to escape this pathetic reality, but got carried away and wanted to replace you. I don't have any excuse for my actions. Just punish me however you want. I stayed silent for a while, then eventually decided to drive her home. It made sense now. Bridget despised me because she'd spent years suffering with Mom, while I had a privileged, happy life with Dad. I felt bad for her, because after all, she's just a victim of Mom's neglect. So, I used the money Bridget had made while being me to pay off Mom's debt, and then I spoke to Dad and arranged for her to move in with us. Things aren't perfect between us, but we're getting there. She's still super shy and moody, but she's doing a lot better than she was. I learned to accept the scar on my face and became a real singer. I may not be a household name, but I guess I'm pretty famous, and also an inspiration to young girls who feel self-conscious about the way they look. And you know what? I'm happy with that. Best of all, I now have a cute, kind, loving, albeit grouchy at times, boyfriend, David. We even opened a music company that judged our clients on their talent, not their appearance. I was cuddled up next to David watching the news when the reporter said there was a groundbreaking new scar treatment available. Do you still want to remove your scar? No, as it's now a part of me.